The Light of Knowledge. Chapter 1. The Boy Who Searched for Truth. In a peaceful town surrounded by beautiful mountains, there lived a young man named Yusuf. Yusuf was not famous because of his wealth or his position. He lived a simple life, but he had something that made him different from others. He had a deep love for knowledge. While many young people spent their time chasing fame and showing their possessions, Yusuf spent his evenings reading books, learning from wise people, and observing the world around him. He believed that knowledge was not only about knowing many things. True knowledge was about understanding what was right and using it to help others. Since childhood, Yusuf carried a question in his heart. Why do some people have everything they want but still live without peace, while others have very little but remain happy? He wanted to understand the wisdom behind life. One day, Yusuf went to meet an old scholar named Sheikh Hamid. Sheikh Hamid was respected throughout the town because he was not only knowledgeable, but also fair and patient. Yusuf sat beside him and asked, "Teacher, what is the greatest treasure a person can have?" The old scholar smiled and replied, "Many people believe treasure means gold, wealth, or power. But gold can be lost. Wealth can disappear. Power can leave a person. Knowledge is different. Knowledge is a light. When it enters the heart, it guides a person even in the darkest moments." Yusuf never forgot those words. From that day, he decided that he would not only gain knowledge for himself. He would use knowledge to solve problems and bring peace between people. Months later, a serious disagreement started in Yusuf's town. Near the river, there was a valuable piece of land. Two families claimed that the land belonged to them. The first family brought old documents as proof. The second family also presented documents that supported their claim. The town leaders tried many times to solve the matter, but every meeting ended with anger. People started choosing sides. Old friendships became weak. Neighbors who once trusted each other began fighting. Yusuf watched everything carefully. He noticed something important. Everyone wanted to prove they were right, but nobody was trying to discover the truth. Yusuf went to Sheikh Hamid and asked, "Why do people fight even when the truth can be discovered?" Sheikh Hamid replied, "Because many people love winning more than they love justice. A wise person does not follow anger. A wise person follows evidence." These words gave Yusuf a new purpose. He decided to investigate the matter himself. First, Yusuf met both families separately. He listened carefully to their stories. He did not interrupt. He did not accuse anyone. He only asked questions. Both families showed him their documents. At first glance, everything looked correct. But Yusuf noticed a small detail. The dates on both documents were almost the same. He thought, something is missing. Two different families cannot receive ownership of the same land at the same time. There had to be another hidden part of the story. Yusuf went to the old records office of the town. The keeper of the records was an elderly man named Karim. "I need to see the oldest records of the river land," Yusuf said. Karim searched through many dusty books. After hours of searching, he finally found an old register. But something was wrong. One page was missing. Karim looked worried. This page disappeared many years ago. Yusuf carefully examined the remaining pages. Then he noticed a small symbol. The same symbol appeared on both families' documents. His expression changed. "This is not just a simple land dispute," Yusuf said. "Someone wanted this truth to remain hidden." That night, Yusuf sat under the stars and thought deeply. He understood that the path of truth was not always easy. Sometimes finding the truth meant facing people who wanted to hide it. But he also knew one thing. A person with knowledge and patience can uncover even the deepest secrets. Because knowledge is not just information. Knowledge is a light. And once that light appears, darkness cannot remain forever. End of Chapter 1. Chapter 2. The Hidden Page. The next morning, Yusuf woke up before sunrise. The mystery of the missing page was still on his mind. He knew that the missing page was not just a piece of paper. It was the key to understanding the truth. Yusuf returned to the old records office where Karim, the record keeper, was organizing ancient documents. "Karim," Yusuf said, "I need to know everything about this missing page." Karim looked worried. Many years ago, that page disappeared from the register. Everyone thought it was lost forever. Do you remember what was written on it? Yusuf asked. The old man closed his eyes and tried to remember. It contained information about the original owner of the land and the agreement made between two families. Yusuf became thoughtful. If that page proves the real owner, then someone removed it on purpose. Yusuf started searching for more clues. He visited the riverland and carefully examined the area. He noticed something unusual. There was an old stone marker near the river, almost covered by soil and plants. Yusuf cleaned the stone and discovered a symbol carved into it. It was the same symbol he had seen on the old documents. He whispered, "This symbol is not just a mark. It is a sign of the original agreement." Later, Yusuf met the two families again. This time, he asked different questions. He did not ask about ownership. He asked about their ancestors. The first family told him, "Our grandfather received this land from his father." The second family said, "Our ancestors also protected this land for generations." Yusuf noticed something important. Both families were not lying completely. Both families knew only part of the truth. Someone in the past had separated the information and created confusion. That evening, Yusuf returned to Sheikh Hamid. "I found something interesting," Yusuf said. "Both families believe they are correct." Sheikh Hamid nodded. Sometimes the biggest conflicts happen because people see only one side of the story. Yusuf asked, "How can we find the complete truth?" The scholar replied, "Look for what both sides have forgotten." The next day, Yusuf searched through old records again. After hours of searching, he found another document hidden inside a damaged book. It was not the missing page, but it mentioned a name, Hassan al-Faruq. Yusuf had never heard this name before. He asked Karim, "Who was Hassan al-Faruq?" Karim's face changed. He was the person who created the original agreement for the land many years ago. "Why is his name important?" Yusuf asked. Karim replied, "Because he was known for writing one final statement at the end of every agreement." "What statement?" Karim looked at Yusuf and said, "The truth belongs to those who protect justice, not those who seek personal gain." Yusuf realized something. The missing page was not only about ownership. It contained a message about justice. But one question remained. Who removed the page? And why? That night, while Yusuf was studying the documents, he noticed another strange detail. The ink on both families' documents was not the same as the original records. Someone had copied the information recently. The documents looked old, but they were not as old as people believed. Yusuf closed the book slowly. This means someone created these documents to confuse everyone. The next morning, Yusuf discovered a new clue. A small piece of paper was found near the old record office. On it, there was only one sentence. "Stop searching for the page, or you will lose more than the truth." Yusuf read the message carefully. Someone was watching him. Someone did not want the secret to be revealed. But instead of feeling afraid, Yusuf became more determined. Because he knew, the harder people try to hide the truth, the more important the truth becomes. End of Chapter 2. Chapter 3. The Secret Behind the Land. The warning message did not scare Yusuf. Instead, it made him more careful. He knew that someone was trying to stop him, but he also knew that fear could never lead a person to the truth. Early the next morning, Yusuf went back to the riverland. He stood there quietly and looked at the surroundings. He asked himself, why would someone create fake documents? Why would someone remove an important page from an old record? There must be something valuable hidden behind this land. Yusuf began studying the history of the land. He visited old people in the town and asked them about the past. Most people remembered only rumors. But one elderly man named Abdullah told Yusuf something interesting. "I remember my grandfather talking about this place," Abdullah said. "He said the land was never meant for personal wealth." Yusuf became curious. "What do you mean?" Abdullah replied. "Long ago, this land was given for a purpose. It was supposed to help the people of the town." "How?" "It was meant to support travelers, poor families, and students who wanted to learn." Yusuf was surprised. So the conflict was not only about land. It was about a forgotten responsibility. Yusuf returned to the old records office. He searched through more documents and found a hidden note inside another book. The note explained that the original agreement had 3 conditions. First, the land must never be sold for personal profit. Second, the income from the land must help the community. Third, the land must remain under the care of honest people. Yusuf understood everything. Someone wanted control of the land because it had become very valuable. If the original agreement was discovered, their plan would fail. But Yusuf still needed proof. He could not accuse anyone without evidence. He continued his investigation. He compared the signatures on the documents. One signature looked different. The handwriting was similar, but not identical. Yusuf took the documents to a skilled writer in the town. After examining him, the writer said, "These documents were copied from an older one. But the person who copied them made a mistake." "What mistake?" Yusuf asked. "The original writer always used a special mark after signing his name. This mark is missing." Yusuf finally understood. The fake documents were created by someone who knew the information but did not know the smallest details. A person who copied the truth, but did not truly understand it. That evening, Yusuf gathered both families and the town leaders. Everyone expected another argument, but Yusuf did not start with accusations. He placed the documents on the table. "I do not want to prove one family right and the other wrong," he said. "I want to reveal the truth that was hidden from everyone." He explained the missing page, the fake documents, and the original purpose of the land. People listened carefully. The room became silent. Then suddenly, an old man from the crowd stood up. His name was Harun. "I know who removed the page." Everyone looked at him. Harun lowered his head. "Years ago, my father was responsible for keeping the records safe." "What happened?" Yusuf asked. Harun sighed. He was pressured by a powerful person who wanted to buy the land. He was told to hide the original page. The crowd was shocked. "But who was that person?" someone asked. Harun looked toward the back of the room. Everyone followed his eyes. Standing there quietly was the town's richest businessman, a man named Karim Malik. He had always supported the land dispute. Yusuf looked at him calmly. "Is there something you want to explain?" Karim Malik smiled. "You have many questions, Yusuf. But questions are not proof." Yusuf nodded. "That is true. That is why I will continue searching for proof." That night, Yusuf discovered another secret. The missing page had not been destroyed. It was hidden somewhere in the town. And the person who hid it had left behind one final clue. A clue that would reveal the entire truth. End of Chapter 3. Chapter 4. The Test of Wisdom. The discovery of Karim Malik's involvement changed everything in the town. People began whispering. Some believed he was guilty. Others refused to believe that a respected businessman could be involved in such a matter. But Yusuf remained calm. He remembered the words of Sheikh Hamid. "A wise person does not judge by rumors. A wise person follows evidence." Yusuf knew that suspicion was not enough. He needed the truth. The next morning, Yusuf visited Karim Malik. The businessman welcomed him with a confident smile. "Yusuf, people are talking about me because of your investigation." Yusuf calmly replied, "I am not here to accuse you. I am here to understand what happened." Karim smiled. "You are young. You think every mystery has an answer." Yusuf replied, "Every mystery has an answer. Sometimes we just need patience to find it." Yusuf asked Karim a simple question. "Why are you interested in this land?" Karim answered, "Because it is valuable. Anyone would want it." Yusuf nodded. "But the original agreement says the land cannot be used for personal profit." For the first time, Karim's expression changed. Only for a moment, but Yusuf noticed. A small reaction could reveal a big truth. Later, Yusuf met Sheikh Hamid. "I feel like I am close to the truth, but I still cannot prove everything." The scholar smiled. "Remember, Yusuf, knowledge is not only about finding answers. It is also about knowing when to wait. Sometimes a person reveals himself through his own actions." That evening, Yusuf created a plan. He did not confront Karim Malik. He did not spread accusations. Instead, he announced that he had discovered the location of the missing page. The news quickly spread throughout the town. Everyone became curious, especially Karim Malik. That night, Yusuf and the town guards secretly watched the old records office. Hours passed. The town became quiet. Then, near midnight, someone entered the building. The guards followed carefully. The person was wearing a dark cloak. He moved toward the old records section. When he removed the cloak, everyone was shocked. It was one of Kareem Malik's assistants. The assistant was carrying an old envelope. Inside the envelope was a piece of ancient paper. The missing page. The guards brought him before Yusuf. Yusuf looked at the assistant and asked, "Why did you hide this page?" The assistant looked nervous. "I was ordered to do it." "By whom?" The assistant remained silent. Yusuf did not threaten him. Instead, he said, "The truth becomes heavier when you carry a lie alone." After a long silence, the assistant finally spoke. "Kareem Malik ordered me." The next day, the entire town gathered. The missing page was presented before everyone. The old writing clearly explained the original purpose of the land. The land was never meant to make one person rich. It was a trust created to benefit the entire community. Everyone looked toward Kareem Malik. For the first time, he had no answer. But Yusuf noticed something. Kareem Malik was not only trying to gain money. There was another reason behind his actions. Yusuf asked, "Why did you really want this land?" Kareem remained silent. After a long pause, he finally said, "Because I believed wealth was the only way to earn respect." The crowd became quiet. Yusuf understood something important. Sometimes people make wrong choices because they follow their desires instead of wisdom. Yusuf said, "Making a mistake does not define a person forever. But refusing to accept the truth can destroy everything." Kareem lowered his head. He realized that his greed had damaged his reputation and his relationship with the people. The mystery was almost solved. The truth was finally coming into the light. But Yusuf still had one final task. He had to decide what should happen next. Should Kareem be punished only? Or should the town find a way to restore justice and peace? The final decision would test Yusuf's true wisdom. End of Chapter 4. Chapter 5. The Light That Changed the Town. The entire town gathered in the main hall. Everyone was waiting for Yusuf's final decision. The truth had been revealed. The missing page was found. The fake documents were exposed. And Kareem Malik's actions had become clear. Many people wanted strict punishment. "He tried to take what belonged to everyone," one person said. "He destroyed the peace of our town," another person added. Everyone looked at Yusuf. They expected anger. They expected revenge. But Yusuf remained calm. Yusuf stood before the people and said, "Justice is not about making someone suffer because we are angry. Justice is about correcting what is wrong and protecting what is right." The hall became silent. Yusuf continued, "Kareem Malik made a serious mistake. He must accept responsibility for his actions. But if we only create more hatred, we will not solve the real problem." The town leaders discussed the matter. After careful consideration, they decided that Kareem Malik would return control of the land to the community. The land would be used according to the original agreement. A school would be built there. A place where children could learn. A place where knowledge could grow. Kareem Malik also had to apologize publicly and help repair the damage he had caused. Weeks passed. The town began to change. The land near the river was no longer a reason for conflict. It became a place of learning and hope. Children came there every day to study. Poor families received support. Travelers found a place to rest. The same land that once divided people now brought him together. One evening, Yusuf visited Sheikh Hamid. The old scholar smiled. "You solved a difficult problem." Yusuf replied, "I only searched for the truth." Sheikh Hamid nodded. "And that is what a person of knowledge does. He does not follow anger. He does not follow pride. He follows wisdom." Yusuf looked toward the new school near the river. "Teacher, I learned something important." "What did you learn?" Sheikh Hamid asked. Yusuf said, "Knowledge is not valuable because it makes a person look intelligent. Knowledge is valuable because it helps a person make better choices." The old scholar smiled. "Now you understand the true meaning of knowledge." Years later, people still remembered the story of Yusuf. Not because he defeated an enemy. Not because he became famous. But because he showed everyone the power of wisdom. The town learned an unforgettable lesson. A person with wealth can build walls. A person with power can control people for a while. But a person with knowledge can change hearts. Because knowledge is a light. It removes confusion. It guides people toward truth. And once the light of knowledge shines, darkness can never return the same way again. The end.